Welcome to Wine and a Book 2025 and the second of 8 readings of book readings as part of Indie Author Week UK, showcasing independent authors. And tonight, a few seconds late because the software I'm still learning, I'm reading from Freckles and Friends, my little book. And it's true stories of garden wildlife. And they're largely entertaining and funny stories rather than strong science. The science is hidden behind. So before I do the reading, I'm going to do a little update on garden wildlife this year because I've got another robin chum that I call Freddie, and he's a bit camera shy, so every time I bring the phone out, he goes, but he has actually eaten out of my hand. He prefers to eat out of the lid, and he'll do full hummingbird to come down to the lid. If I go down to the car park without giving him his food first, he will go to the nearest branch to the path and shout at me, going, "Where are you going?" "I'm over here," in robin speak. And he has actually stalked me all the way down to the car park in his determination to get food. He now is a daddy again, and he has the most beautiful wife. She is very elegant with big brown eyes and long legs and an elegant torso. I've never seen an elegant robin before. And I called her Naomi because I didn't know that Naomi wasn't the best supermodel to name her after. But anyway, and she's got very elegant little flecks on her wings, sort of copper, like jewellery. Then there's Buster and Gladys, the neighbours' robins, who have brought two lots of babies into the world this year. And then there's Charles and Camilla because they're the third robins. So Charles the third, and had to be Camilla, really, didn't it? And then marauding hordes of blue tits and great tits, voraciously greedy woodpeckers, nuthatches. And on the 29th of April, on a balmy evening, I was sitting outside, still in the dusk, and I don't know if this is going to work. I hope it's going to work. So this is a video. I haven't got the smarts yet to do videos linked in, but look at his little tongue. Called him Bertie. So we thought that he was an alcoholic because he was having a bit of wine, but actually, if there was a dribble, it wasn't all the way over the bottle. So one possibility was condensation, but the wine was quite warm. So the chances are that it was the salt from my hand that he was making with his little tongue. So, yeah. If you're quiet and peaceful, garden wildlife turns up, which is absolutely wonderful. And right, so the book. I wrote it as a result of a friend of mine looking at Facebook posts I was putting out about the robin called Freckles and about other bits of garden wildlife, and she said, "You've got to put it in a book." And I put it into a book that is aimed at 7 to 11-year-old children, but the readership is 3 to 90 or plus. So obviously the 3-year-old is being read to. He's a very bright boy, but right. So yeah, wrens, robins and hornets. For his birthday one year, Simon, my late husband, was given a moth trap. This was a wooden box with a strong light bulb and some perspex windows. Under the perspex he would place old egg cartons that he had torn into two. At night the strong light shines out from a moth trap and attracts moths, which some people say think that the light is the moon. Moths aren't very popular in some households, but actually there are many that are as beautiful as butterflies. Some look more like armoured tanks. So I'm pretty sure that's a poplar hawk moth. Lime hawk moth is more green, but that's the alternative. I can't remember. And I didn't actually put it in the text, naughty me. Some look more like armoured tanks, but most need to be looked at carefully to see how different they are to each other. Simon spent a lot of time doing this in the mornings. Moths are very popular with birds and bats, as well as spiders, wasps and hornets, because they all like to eat them. After Simon started to use the moth trap, once they all got the idea that moth trap meant a well-balanced breakfast, it became a bit of a battle between them for Simon to see the moths before they were eaten. This wasn't the idea behind the moth trap. It was for making lists of names of moths seen and letting the moths go free. Simon grumbled a lot. Then, one day, a wren made things even worse. Instead of picking up the moths from the grass around the trap, because he was small, he jumped into the space between the perspex windows and started noshing on the big moths hiding in the egg cartons. Simon let out a deep wail of frustration. The wren was having a lovely time, and as the days went on, he became a bit of a maniac. All that food was like bright-coloured sweets to human children. He started to fling the egg cartons around inside the trap. Something had to be done soon. Amanda thought about it a bit. She thought about the problem and how it needed to be a simple solution. Something was needed to stop the wren from getting into the moth trap, but still let the moths go inside. There was the possibility of getting up at dawn and waving an umbrella or something at it, but that in the summer is very, very early, and the wren would win every time. Then, she joked, what we need is a clockwork toy that starts up when the wren goes in, enough to frighten it back out, but not enough to hurt it. Simon didn't laugh. He thought it was a good plan. The next time Amanda was at the shops, she went into a toy shop. There, in a bargain bin, was just the beast. A bright red and pink clockwork lobster. When touched, it made just the right clatter and span around. The touch was light to set it off, and it had no rough edges to hurt anything. That night, Simon and Amanda spent an hour putting the lobster into the moth trap. Every time it touched the floor or an egg box, it would burst into life, spinning in circles. Simon grumbled that he was never going to get it to sit still when suddenly he got it, and somehow managed to set everything up with a quiet lobster. And there's the lobster in the book. The next morning, the wren was on the grass, looking a little wild-eyed and pecking absently at the little moths on the grass blades. It was not in the trap. The lobster was on its side, which might have meant a bit of a fight had taken place, but nobody was hurt, which was a big win. Well, some moths were hurt, but not nearly as many as had been getting hurt before the lobster was used. After that, Simon set the lobster every night and met the wren on the grass every morning. Other participants in this game of catch the moth from within the trap were less friendly. Some mornings, Simon would take the lid off the trap and find wasps or even hornets in the egg boxes. Where the moths were calm and dozy in the morning, the wasps and hornets really did not like being woken up, and many times Simon had several stings. He is very lucky, and even hornet stings don't make him ill, Most people would have given up the moths if they had got stung, but not Simon. Twice, a female moth left an unexpected gift behind in the shape of a cluster of eggs. Moths usually lay their eggs on a plant or plant stem that their caterpillars will then want to eat. When you're choosing between wood or cardboard, when you are trapped with no plants nearby, wood apparently wins. Both times Simon got very excited and started to collect bramble branches to put into a glass dome where he was planning to look after anything that hatched. Both times he somehow knew what species had laid the eggs. Amanda was very surprised. They all looked white and pointy to her with no difference each time. Bramble is a wonderful plant, even though you wouldn't think so, apart from at bramble picking time. For wildlife, it is food for all sorts of insects and their youngsters. Actually, there are 350 different brambles. I think it's over 400 that have been found now. But there aren't many people who can tell the difference. For moths, it is like an alternative to their normal food, and it's so common that it's easy to find. The caterpillars of the second lot of eggs hatched into teeny tiny little black fuzzy things. They ate fresh bramble leaves every day and grew bigger and bigger. Every 10 days or so they would stop eating, drop little pellets on the ground and look very itchy. Then there would be small fluffy skins on the bottom of the glass dome, and the caterpillars would look completely different. One time they would be black and orange with black spines. The next time, they would have black and green stripes with yellow spots sprouting long black spines dotted in the green bands, as if they were wearing football kit with ever-changing strip. So there's a picture of that. After 4 changes, they got very fidgety and started to roam pretty speedily around their little home, ignoring fresh food unless using it for gymnastics. Shortly after this, some fluffy pods started to appear. Simon got very excited. "They're starting to pupate," he said. "We must make sure they stay dry somewhere dark and safe." When all the caterpillars had gone into their silky, fluffy pods, Simon and Amanda took the glass dome into the shed and left the chrysalises on a dark shelf, left to themselves, where 6 months later they would turn into moths. The time of the hatching was important. If they hatched in the shed, unable to get out, then they could get caught in spiders' webs or beat themselves on the window glass. When the time was near, Simon went in every day to look to see if there were any signs of movement. Moths and chrysalises are very like. Moths in chrysalises are like very scrumpled, unironed shirts. And when they come out, they need a bit of time to spread out to make sure their wings straighten safely. One morning in March, he went into the shed and found 4 male emperor moths in the middle of wing straightening. He jumped up and down and rushed to the back door. "They've hatched! They've only gone and hatched," he said. Like proud parents, Simon and Amanda went to check on their babies. Over the next 5 days, more males and then females came out and took to the wing. They are very beautiful moths. They all have eyes on their wings to frighten, to look like owls, I got that wrong, with underwings which are largely pink on the girls and largely orange on the boys, and they're stunning. Really, really lovely. So that's tonight's reading, and I can't remember what's tomorrow. I think it's Jane Austen's Churches. It's either Lichens or Jane Austen's Churches. Sorry. I'll add a note when YouTube actually allows this to go as a watch later thing. Thank you very much for joining me for this reading. If you are interested in learning more about the book, and especially if you'd like to buy a copy, please go to my website, www.tiliapublishinguk.co.uk, where copies are available. Freckles and Friends is also available as an Amazon Kindle. The book price is £9.95 plus postage and packing. The Kindle price, I think, is £2.99 unless you're on Prime or whatever. Sorry, I don't do Kindle. And I wish you all the very best and lots of health. Thank you for watching.